On Monday, Norway held its 2025 election, which polling experts had described beforehand as perhaps the most exciting parliamentary election since 1945. In the end, the incumbent centre-left Labour Party finished in first place, winning 28% of the vote and securing a second four-year term. It was an extremely close race between Norway's left-wing and right-wing political blocs overall, though, with Norway's left-wing political bloc, dominated by Labour, achieving 87 out of 169 seats, just 2 above the 85 needed for a parliamentary majority. Meanwhile, the right-wing bloc, comprising the populist right-wing Progress Party and the Conservatives, achieved 82 seats, with the Progress Party more than doubling its result from 2021. So, in this video, we'll explain Norway's 2025 election results, the recent political background, and what challenges the country's next government might face. Have you ever wondered how much money TLDR makes each year? Or who's funding our journalism? Well, we think transparency is super important. So we answer both questions in our recent video. It's linked in the description. Let's start by recapping the political background. At the previous 2021 election, the centre-left Labour Party finished first with a 26.3% vote share, followed by the centre-right Conservative Party with 20.5%. In third was the agrarian Eurosceptic Centre Party, with 13.6% of the vote. In fourth was the right-wing populist Progress Party with 11.7%, and in fifth was the left-wing Eurosceptic Socialist Left Party with 7.6%. After their victory, Labour, led by Jonas Gahr Støre, formed a minority coalition government with the Centre Party, which soon became plagued by infighting, resignations, and conflict of interest scandals, from plagiarism to insider trading. This contributed to a drop in Labour's poll rating, from 27% at the 2021 election to around 16% in January 2024, when the right-wing populist Progress Party really began to surge. Further cracks appeared in the Labour Centre coalition in late 2024, over the issue of energy. For context, Norway is one of the world's largest exporters of crude oil and natural gas, and is also a big producer of hydropower. Around 90% of Norway's total electricity comes from hydropower, and almost half of Europe's total reservoir capacity is in Norway. Norway exports hydropower to the EU via electricity interconnectors to Denmark, the UK, and Germany. And in the past few years, this has increased significantly, leading to rising concerns that Norway's electricity exports to the EU may be driving up the country's domestic energy prices. This is why, in January, the Eurosceptic Centre Party, which has long opposed Norwegian membership of the EU and the adoption of its energy market rules, left Støre's government. Støre was pushing for Norway to accept the EU's energy directive to generally increase Norway's alignment with Europe, but the Centre Party opposed this and quit the coalition, leaving a pure Labour cabinet. But this apparently ended up helping Labour, and after Støre's appointment of the popular former Norwegian Prime Minister and NATO chief Jens Stoltenberg as finance minister in February, Labour's polling immediately jumped up by as many as 10 percentage points, to a 6-year high of nearly 30%. Meanwhile, the right-wing populist Progress Party was holding steady at around 20%, having overtaken the Conservatives at the end of 2024. The party appeared to be benefiting from growing fatigue with both of Norway's mainstream parties, Labour and the Conservatives, but also from Norway's increased oil and gas revenues since Norway overtook Russia as Europe's biggest supplier of natural gas in 2022. This seemed to work in the Progress Party's favour, as the party has long championed oil and gas exploration. Simultaneously, though, it caused problems for the left-leaning parties, which disagree over what to do with Norway's immense oil and gas reserves. This dilemma isn't going away anytime soon either. Norwegian exports of natural gas remain near record highs, and are forecast to stay at similar levels until 2027. Anyway, that brings us to the 2025 election results. Labour came first with 53 seats, closely followed by the Progress Party on 48 seats. In third were the Conservatives with 24 seats, a notable drop from 2021. Next, the Centre Party, Socialist Left Party, and the Reds each won 9, while the Greens and Christian Democratic Party each won 7, and the Liberals won 3. There was also a clear urban-rural divide, But unlike in other European countries, Norway's urban areas showed stronger support for right-wing parties, while rural areas showed stronger support for left-wing parties. We can map this fairly accurately onto median income, with wealthier urban areas voting more for the right and poorer rural areas voting more for the left. This reflects how big of an issue Norway's wealth tax was in this election. For context, the previous Labour Centre coalition introduced changes to Norway's long-standing wealth tax, which have generated an extra 10 billion kroner of government revenue annually, but have also reportedly led to record departures of investors and the super-rich to low-tax countries like Switzerland. During the campaign, the populist Progress Party promised to scrap the tax, arguing that Norway needs to be an attractive country for wealth creation, while the more moderate Conservatives pledged to reduce it. Labour Finance Minister Stoltenberg, meanwhile, pledged a cross-party review of all Norwegian taxes, including wealth, after the election. Anyway, wealth tax aside, there are two main takeaways from these results. The first is that the Labour government's job has become even more difficult, as the party now needs the support of 4 smaller parties in order to reach a parliamentary majority. Norway's multi-party political system is generally divided into 2 main blocks, with parties belonging to either the left-wing red or right-wing blue bloc. Given that the combined number of seats won by the red bloc is 87, with 85 required for a majority, Labour would need to rely on all of the Centre Party, Socialist Left Party, the Reds and the Greens for a parliamentary majority. However, Norway often has minority coalition governments, so Labour can choose to form a coalition with 1 or 2 other red bloc parties, or even govern alone. Støre will likely continue as Prime Minister, with a majority of respondents to a poll last week preferring him as their candidate. But he'll have to manage disagreements among the red bloc parties over issues like taxation, social welfare and climate policy. The second main takeaway is that the Conservative Party has been usurped by the Progress Party as the dominant party of the right of Norwegian politics. The Progress Party, which campaigned on the slogan "Your money, your freedom," promised to slash taxes and invest more of Norway's $1.8 trillion sovereign wealth fund in infrastructure, as well as arguing for zero net immigration from, quote, high-risk countries, prioritising Christian refugees and setting up asylum processing centres in third countries like Rwanda. The party achieved its best ever results, reflecting the broader trend of right-wing populist parties doing well across Europe. Ultimately, Norway's new government will face several challenges, as the left bloc has a very narrow majority and faces a stronger, bolder opposition in the Progress Party. The government will likely be scrutinised over the use and investment of Norway's sovereign wealth fund, which divested from Israeli weapons firms this summer following public outcry, and also over Norway's taxation system. Stoltenberg's proposed review of Norwegian taxes, including on wealth, will be something many European governments that are now considering their own wealth tax will be watching closely. It's no secret that problem solving is always found at the heart of politics, whether that's through making important decisions or just understanding how the world works. Here at TLDR, we want to stay on top of our problem solving too, so that's why we use Brilliant. Brilliant is an incredibly comprehensive online learning platform that helps you become a better thinker and problem solver, designed specifically to teach you everything from maths, data analysis, programming and AI from the ground up. You don't need a fancy degree or to have dedicated hundreds of hours to studying, as Brilliant gets you stuck in at the perfect level, allowing you to first start with mastering the foundations, then helps you level up to increasingly challenging problems. Take their fantastic data courses, for example. Whether you're starting fresh or continuing your learning journey, Brilliant offers everything from basics, like data visualizations, to advanced topics like algorithms and regression models. Using real-world data from Airbnb, Spotify, Starbucks, and more, you'll learn to see trends, parse and visualize massive datasets, and make better informed decisions. To start tackling those problems and try Brilliant for free, visit brilliant.org/TLDR, scan the QR code on screen, or you can click the link in the description. By doing so, you'll also get 20% off an annual premium subscription, and they'll know that you came from us, which really helps us out.